Hello guys, and we're back with the series of basics of SOLIDWORKS, and today we're going to talk about the lofted feature and the wrap feature. So those are very useful, but sometimes students tend to struggle with them because you need very specific sketches, very specific planes, and you can get a lot of errors. So today let's run through how to make sure that you do those features very smoothly so that you don't have any troubles with whatever projects you're doing. And if you haven't watched any of my previous videos on the basics of SOLIDWORKS, I recommend that you watch them before watching this video so that you can just get familiar with the software. But let's jump right into it. So as always, we first select a plane. In this case, I selected the front plane. So let's talk a little bit about the lofted feature. Lofted feature allows you to connect an object or sketch with a smaller diameter with a larger diameter. So let's say you have a tube and you start out with a small opening, then you want it to expand. So how are we going to do that? We're going to connect two sketches of different diameters, and the program is going to do that expansion for us. Let's see how we do that. And by the way, it doesn't have to be a circle, but usually it is. I don't know why. So let's start with a regular circle. Exit sketch. All right, got my circle. Now, what I need to do is I need to create a second plane that is going to be perpendicular to the one that I just created. Okay, so please watch this carefully. So we have the front plane. Now we're going to create a new plane, and we're going to Features and Reference Geometry and click on Plane. So create a new one. All right, now we can offset this plane by, I'm gonna increase it like this. Okay. So, this is good enough, honestly. All right, so now we got our second plane that is perpendicular to the original one. I'm gonna click OK. And now on this new plane, we're going to create our second sketch. So let's say I want this one to be smaller than my original. All right, let's say I want an opening like this. So now here's what it looks like, right? Okay, so now we have to connect them. We go into Features, and this is where we start using the lofted feature. So click Lofted, and now we need to select two sketches that we're going to connect. So we click on our first circle and our second circle, and you can see a preview of how it's going to look like, right? The program automatically creates it. If you don't see this preview, then you did something wrong. Usually what could happen, and I will show this in a second. So delete. Let's say I selected this point, and let's say I select this point over here. See what happens? So we kind of twist it. So I selected a point on here and selected a point on here, and now the whole feature is twisted. If I make a circle, if I twist it too much, so let me see if I can actually demonstrate this. If I twist this too much, never mind, the program's too smart. But sometimes it does detect an error, and then it's not going to let you create this feature. And if you don't see a preview after you click on the second sketch, that means something is wrong and it's not going to let you actually execute this feature. And it is probably because you curved it too much, or maybe your other sketch is open, or something like that, okay? So as you can see, we can twist it in different ways, and now we click OK. There we go. Sorry for that. So now we have this beautiful lofted feature. So now let's talk about the wrap feature. The wrap feature allows you to create a cut over an object that has an uneven surface or a curved surface. So if it's not a rectangle or a flat surface, then if you do a regular cut, you're going to have uneven depth, right? Because the object is curved. So if you want even depth for something, or you want to cut it, or you want to put letters on an object and you want it to curve over the object, then you're going to use the wrap feature. So let's try this. Let's make a new sketch. Let's say I just want to make a cylinder. So what I'm going to do is create a new file. All right, and now I'm going to create my little cylinder. Okay. There we go. I want it to be maybe like 5. It's good enough. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to create a plane that is perpendicular to the one that I currently have. Now, why would I want to do that? That is, and I want the plane to be perpendicular and also to be touching the object. You see how, yeah, it's directly in contact with the object. Now, what I want to do perpendicular one, you have to think about how you're going to wrap whatever you are trying to wrap. So your plane has to be exactly perpendicular to the object, because if, let's say, it's on this side of the cylinder, then what is it going to wrap, right? It's wrapping a flat surface, so you're not getting that wrap effect. So we got our plane. Now on this plane, we can start creating whatever shape we want. So I'm just going to do simple shape just for the sake of demonstration, but you can honestly do any shape that you'd like. Let's say I want to do this rectangle. I click OK. And now, don't forget to exit from your sketch. Select the sketch, go into Features, click Wrap. Now, before you execute the wrap, you have to select what surface you want it to wrap on. I'm going to select the cylinder, and you see how it already shows me what it's going to look like. Yep, so it's curving. Now we have 3 different types. So we can do an extruding wrap, so it's going to create a 3D shape out. We can do a cut, or we can do this one. Let's see what this does actually. Yeah, so it doesn't actually do anything, it just creates a contour. That's it. But if I wanted to do a cut, I'm gonna select this one. I don't want to pull direction, and there we go. See? So now you created a cut with an even depth all over my curved object. And you can do this as deep as you want. And yeah, there we go. As simple as that. Some issues with the wrap that could come through is if you incorrectly install the plane, or maybe your cut is too deep, or if the cut is too big even. Let's say it goes all the way from here to all the way over there. It's going to wrap all around the object and even intersect upon itself. Then it's going to give you an error. So let's see if I can do this. Okay, see? So it doesn't actually give you a full wrap, it only gives you that part that's intersecting, but it's not going to wrap the entire object. That is because your cuts are intersecting and the program interprets it as only dissect the common area. So you want to be careful with your dimensions. Yeah, so now let's also quickly look at loft cut, which works pretty much the same way as a lofted extrude. So let's go back into this figure. Let's start with this plane again, and I'm going to create another circle. And of course, make sure that this cut circle is smaller than your extruded plane, because you want to make sure that the cut is not exceeding the object, because then the SOLIDWORKS is going to give you an error. So again, I create 2 sketches of whatever diameter of my circles that I want. They don't have to be the same diameter, that is the whole point. And now I'm going to do lofted cut. And again, I'm connecting 2 of my sketches. I start with this one, I go into this one. Let's say I want it to be straight, not curved. I click OK. And now I've got a beautiful cut that is also expanding. All right. So yeah, that is pretty much it for this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and that's pretty much it. Thank you.